For context, my grandparents had a house transported from a rural area to what would be my family's land. It had partially burned down, but there were no reported injuries. My dad did have it remodeled into a log cabin, and added on to it a few years after he inherited it. When I was very little, a lot of what I experienced could have been explained as an active imagination. As I grew up, that wasn't the case. I won't go into crazy detail with every experience here, but I am willing to elaborate to those who wish it. Both my parents loved antiques. We had an hanging old food scale that would randomly shake back and forth. Cups would fall off counters. The cupboard doors in our kitchen would shudder back and forth. Sometimes I'd walk into the kitchen and every single one would be totally open while I was alone at home. And then there were the footsteps you could hear in our bedrooms and up and down the main hallway. Sometimes I'd be walking down that same hallway and I'd hear a SHH next to my ear. Furniture would violently rattle randomly. I was lucky enough to have the bedroom where the creepiest things happened. I'd hear footsteps at night, and then I could feel and hear something sit on my bed. Objects would fly across the room from my shelving. I'd hear knocking on the walls. I'd hear growls, smell sulfur. I'd glimpse shadows moving out of my peripherals. Lights would randomly turn off and on. One of the creepiest times were when I'd hear one specific tune being whistled from outside my window every night. Almost always at 3:02 a.m., accompanied by tapping, which happened for years and years, to the point it eventually became predictable and more annoying than scary. When my boyfriend first started staying the night with me, he didn't believe in ghosts, but then the whistling would wake him up. He started believing real quick. My first best friend eventually refused to stay at my house because it scared her so much. And no, I didn't tell them about these things beforehand. I didn't want to seem like a loon or freak them out. Since I moved out, I'll still sense and hear things, but it's never felt bad. Just like I'm not alone, which is chill. I'd rather that than feel like something wants to hurt me. On top of all this, my family and I have had some dramatically tragic things happen, like the sort of stuff only written in books or for TV. When I've listed it all out, very few believe me. And I wonder, for those that have experienced similar encounters, has your life seemed a bit cursed as well? I'm curious if there's a link between the two, or if I am just a special little snowflake grinning face with sweat.